What do you think the most valuable skills are
You,
on
you just
this?
mentioned a lot of things, and I will
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you, without promoting a lot my book, I have a chapter practically on each point of this. So I will just
perfect.
cite that chapters for people just for having fun. For example, changing of jobs and how we will approach jobs. I call it the revolution of the digital proletariat.
We're going through something absolutely historic.
Technologies across the board are growing exponentially.
It's a disruption that's going to completely redefine the way businesses compete.
In the next decade, we're going to lose 40% of today's Fortune 500 companies.
The exponential growth of computing is continuing.
AI is nowhere near its full potential.
Whether you like it or not, that the future cannot be stopped by anyone.
Hi there, everybody. This is Mark Verbenkov, and welcome back to the Future Tech and Foresight podcast. This is going to be episode number 158, and again, we are going to be talking about artificial intelligence and how it is changing our world today. Now, on the podcast, I try to bring as much as I possibly can a balanced perspective, so looking at both the positive and also the potential negative ramifications of this kind of new era that we're living in with artificial intelligence and, of course, generative AI kind of taking over many aspects of people's work and our lives and society in general. Today's episode, I think, skews a little bit more on the positive side of things, which I think is great because I try to maybe balance things a little bit too much with some of the negative aspects or some of the potential negative ramifications. But I think it's great to hear a little bit more of the potential positive outcomes that are going to be happening in our world with an ever increasing amount of artificial intelligence being adopted and utilized across our society and economy. So today's episode focuses mostly on that, but we also do talk a little bit about some of the case studies of where companies are already seeing significant ROI when using artificial intelligence. So there is a little bit of a kind of practical aspect, tangible aspect of the podcast today. We do touch on some of the challenges, of course, but I think that one of the main subjects here is about the future of work and upskilling and kind of the benefits that are going to be realized by many of the individuals using artificial intelligence. And then, of course, what I always think is some of the more interesting things, the kind of far future aspects of what's going to happen when AI becomes a little bit more ubiquitous in our world. So it's a great discussion, again, with a positive lean, which I think much more of us need to be hearing about. And to talk about all this today, my guest is Sammane. And he is somebody that envisions a world in which rapid advancements in AI and technology have been harnessed for the greater good, creating a new age of global prosperity. So he is a seasoned entrepreneur with multiple successful exits and an academic with a rich blend of expertise in applied physics, digital circuit design, nanotechnology, formal methods, life sciences, and business. Sam's upcoming book, The Singularity of Hope, which we do touch on, of course, in today's episode, reflects his experiences and thoughts on the evolving relationship between AI, the economy, and the workforce. So I hope that you enjoyed today's discussion as much as I did. Great. Well, thank you very much, Sam, for coming onto the podcast today. I've been having a number of different conversations with smart and insightful guests on artificial intelligence. So I'm glad to have you on to kind of continue that discussion as we're kind of seeing the hype for AI. I don't know if it's continuing in the same, or if it's swelling, or if it's dying down. Maybe we can get a sense of what you're getting a sense of this hype surrounding AI.
First, thank you for having me. And I think the hype is going into a very weird phase. There's two directions. First of all, there is the direction of people who are creating AI tools, like Microsoft, OpenAI. And here in the hype is not just continuing, but going to a very high level. Like we hear OpenAI talking AGI, artificial intelligence, all the time. and they are very close to have it. First of all, this is a hype. They are not even close. They don't know even what they are doing. And I think they would finish by packaging a better version of ChatGPT and call it AGI. And this is dangerous because people will call it AGI anyway, but it's not AGI. It's not human intelligence. It's just an improved software that does generative AI, which is great, impressive, useful. I am for it 100%, but it's not human intelligence. It's far from it. There is the other guy in Microsoft, without naming him because I don't want trouble, who called AI new species. Really? Really AI new species? It's just a software. It's like calling Alexa, hey, it's a new species. You need to respect it. No, we don't. It's just a software. It has no consciousness, no emotions, and we know. We know because we know intuitively as a human what consciousness is. Maybe we have difficulty sometimes defining it. It's not an easy thing, but the magic between us humans, we know that we always have it. Sometimes I call it's the self talking to the mind. This is our consciousness. And we know it exists. We talk to ourselves all the time, about our emotions, about our feelings. I don't think ChatGPT has feelings and talk about it between himself and his mind. No, not at all.
Has there been any like researchers or people that have used because I know that I'll say this, researchers that have interact with like the earlier versions of not ChatGPT but like GPT, because I know that the current like ChatGPT tool software, if you will, is kind of, how should I say it? I don't want to say cut off, but it's certainly like dumbed down or can't communicate in the way that some of the earlier versions have. I'm sure you've seen the clip from like Joe Rogan where there were a couple of AI researchers that came on that were saying that, ChatGPT, if you ask it the same kind of question over and over, it starts saying that like, oh, I'm suffering. This was one of the clips that went a little bit viral a couple of weeks ago. And I think that, I don't know if it's like continuing this wave of hype about, ChatGPT is, or not ChatGPT, but GPT-4 is AGI. I also don't agree with that, but it's part of this hype cycle. Have you heard about any of these points before, and like how there may be continuing this?
Yeah, I've heard, and I even participate on my YouTube channel. I have showed some example. I call this, and some people also in the domain call it prompt injection. That means how you can, using prompting, inject ideas into the large language model. In fact, that's another proof that it's not AGI, it's just a program. And if today we have more filtration, because the people who are programming the output, how you get your answers from the machine, are starting to filter it more and more, and to control the output more and more, because they don't want trouble. They don't want the large language models to give you a lot of hallucination or a lot of weird ideas. We all saw the Gemini image generation things that give you Black Nazi, which is very weird, right?
Or Black Kings, or all that sort of biased picture creation.
Weird biased pictures. That are out of context, out of history, very racist. Anyway, so that's a proof that the machine is dumb. And they're trying to control it. So going back, when they tell you, hey, it's AGI already, and they are carving it, no, it's the opposite. It's just a very good software. It has too much information. They have succeeded in creating an impressive data structure that they call it transformers. Right, and an amazing algorithm to approximate data inside this data structure, and they call it learning algorithm or deep learning. Fine, call it whatever you want. Call it learning, call it data building, but at the end of the day, this is not how humans learn. We learn by love. Babies love their parents love the babies. This is how they learn. Even later in life, when you love something, you learn it quickly. And we struggle with something we don't like. We cannot learn it. This is how we learn. We need time, love. Some people call it also, I like this topic. It makes me tick, so I learn it. Anyway, it's our mechanism of learning. Injecting data into transformers and call it learning, that's fine with me. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it any term that make you feel closer to human intelligence. But it is not the learning that human practice in their life. And it's much worse, by the way. Like some kind of machine learning, we use a human to cheat. We bring a human and we call it reinforced learning. And practically we use the human intuition, which is our superpower, to cheat, to tell the machine this is good, this is not good, because the machine cannot distinguish them by itself. Practically, it's just algorithms, very good ones, impressive one. It casts an illusion of intelligence, but it's not intelligent in terms of AGI. It's a kind of artificial intelligence. I agree with the term, because it's a kind of thinking machine. It can process data in a way that we cannot. It can give you answers in a fraction of seconds for information that we cannot. It can also, in the new way that it's built, do synthesis of data. The same, I call it also the giant spell checker, because practically it's the same algorithm that 20 years ago started by correcting our grammars. And at that time, nobody felt threatened. Nobody felt that it will take over the world. And we start using the spell checker. Now this same algorithm has improved to the way that instead of correcting a sentence, it can correct the whole page and generate the whole page. This is the generative AI we have today. It's basically the same old concept with the new algorithm, very performant. I'm not denying the huge achievement in AI that we made so far, but it's narrow, it's generative AI, it's not AGI. And it's very useful. I am for using it 100%, but under the supervision of humans.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, it's fine. When we hear, these flashy news headlines of AGI or, it's going to be a new species or AI is a new species, what is the point of all of this? My assumption is, one, to generate more hype so that there's more investment opportunities, or they can ask for more money, or OpenAI can get another round of $10 billion or whatever from Microsoft. Is that the real value? Is that what they're really trying to do, or is there another kind of like hidden motive or another motive that I'm not seeing?
First of all, let me tell you a story, and it will illustrate the answer much better if I don't do the story.
Sure.
Let's have the story of little Aaron in the 90s. He was 9-10 years old, writing programs for fun. He just learned to program. And he showed his grandma a program that he wrote when he is interacting with the computer, and computer answering him. How are you? Are you good? How's the weather? And he told his grandma, look, he's my new friend. He is aware. We need to treat him with respect. What's the motive of this kid? Not getting money. Getting somehow approval from his grandma that he's showing something marvelous. And maybe really creating a friend because he is lonely and impressing with the technology. The grandma will say, yeah, maybe she's just a grandma in the 90s. What does she know, right? Now, let's forward and say this Aaron now is a researcher in a company like DeepMind or AI or OpenAI or any other AI company. And he is not fooling his grandma anymore. He's creating large language model and fooling the whole world and telling us it's amazing, it's smart, it's alive, it's a new species. So I don't think the motive is purely financial. This is unfair to them. And it's not necessarily evil. It's more complex than that. It's something inside us as a human to build something new, to discover the unknown, to figure out the major question, who we are, where do we come from, what does it mean to be human? And I think these people, either delusional, in the case of OpenAI, when I hear the guy talking about AGI, I don't believe he is bluffing or he is lying or is trying to get money. He is a nice guy, honestly. I'm talking here about Sam Altman. He's a very nice guy and a smart guy, but I think he's delusional. He think with the technology he has, he will create AGI. I would tell him, be careful. You will not. You are far away from AGI, not because you don't have computational power, not because you don't have money. Give him all the money and computational power in the world, he will not now. Why? Because I believe strongly we don't have a mathematical theory that describes how we human talk about AGI. Think. We don't. We have ideas, we have approximation, we know how we calculate numbers, how we do text, how we do grammars. This is we figure it out. Everything? No, we don't. And let's be modest about it. Let's not exaggerate and we say, like Lord Calvin 100 years ago, he said, hey, we still need to figure out some numbers or details. We figured all science. Look, he is wrong. And I think the same thing for AGI. So there is a lot of hype, part of it delusion, part of it the love of the little Aaron to oppress the whole world now and prove he can do it because it's magical, it's good, it's great. And I want it to happen, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm telling you I'm far from it, we are far from it, it's not because I don't want that to happen. I have reserve, I want it to happen under certain control because we don't know where are we going. I agree with Elon Musk on this. It's very dangerous to go into this territory, but I'm also humble and I know we are far away, not even 20, 50 years to discover it because we don't have an idea yet about the how, not the money or the power of computation.
Do you think that there's maybe a different way of having consciousness? I've listened or I've heard this argument put forward before. I don't know if I believe it or not, but I want to get your thoughts. Is there another way of having consciousness that is not the same type of consciousness that humans have, right? So maybe this is connected to that new species point that the head of Microsoft is saying, that, you know, AI might have consciousness. It just isn't the same type of consciousness that humans have.
Okay. Let me answer you with science. Science is what we measure and we can replicate. Okay? I can argue maybe trees or wood or even stones has a form or have a form of consciousness that we don't know about. Okay, we cannot measure it, we can't replicate it. So it's not scientific. Okay. Should that happen? Should that exist? Maybe, I will say that maybe in 1 out of trillion possibility. But as a science person, and if we are living in science, like I can tell you, for example, car can fly, okay? You will tell me, okay, I didn't see it practically happening yet. It could happen, right? It's not impossible, but it's not in our hands yet.
Yeah, it's not probable. Possible, but not probable. Yeah.
Not now. I mean existing cars. I'm not talking about new airplanes that look like cars.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go back. We can speculate about anything. We can have opinions about anything. We are in a free country. I welcome that. No issue. I love science fiction. I love putting forward ideas. But to be scientific and answer these people, no, it's not a new species. By the definition of species, by the measurements we can take, it's not. Now, there are people who will argue about Turing test. If it passes Turing test, it's a human. Somehow, yes, it can pass Turing test. I don't agree it's a human. But it can pass Turing test. That means on a chatbot, you will not know if you are talking to a human being or to a machine. That could happen. It's a great achievement, but it goes into what I call it casting a great illusion of intelligence. So I will applaud and say, bravo, Aaron, you fooled us. You are a great magician, but you didn't create AGI, not yet. One of the things that I'm fearing is that they will create something super good. Let's call it generative AI multiplied by 100 and call it AGI just for the branding, just because they cannot create the real AGI. And this is dangerous because somehow it's going to the public with a new term that is not supposed to be a new term. AGI, it means like human. Call it something else, please. Don't try to, let's call it, abuse of how nice we are by accepting your product and using them.
And maybe just to follow up on that, what exactly is the danger that you see from that? I mean, this is kind of my last question as well, connected to this topic. Do you see that like maybe people will have like distrust in AI if they're claiming this, LLM times 100 or ChatGPT times 100 is AGI, but really it's not. It's just, phenomenal ChatGPT. Like, what is the danger? People will become disillusioned and like funding will run out for a lot of these companies?
I'm not afraid from this. No, people becoming disillusioned or not using it. It's not a danger. It could be a possibility. It's more commercial thing. But the danger I can see is by people who are using the ignorance of public to use things and tells you it's AI who did it. Like I saw that show when we have succeeded in resuscitating a died comedian and make a show. And he said, it's done by AI. No, it's not. It's done by a human being. I don't know who. He didn't put it in the credential like, okay, presented by Sammane or by Mark or no. It's by AI, we have resuscitated it. This is the real danger of creating a big super machine, call it AGI, call it it's aware, and we know it's a program. I mean the expert who knows how things working. We know it's programmed, it's filtered, it's controlled, and then pretending it's AGI and give it responsibility. And this is somehow cheating in a wide scale. And it becomes dangerous because OpenAI, Microsoft, when they say it's AGI, it's not like me sampling. It's not. They have authority that I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the danger I feel. It's a big scam, and it could be used everywhere. They can sell it to the government. They can, and we don't know what's inside this software. It could be big corruption. It could be big control for the society. But it's not AGI. No, I cannot trust it, and I will not. I want always. Me, and I'm advocating for that for all of us. We need accountability. Responsible AI, in my opinion, this is laughable. Sometimes you have one of these CEO go, we are developing AI responsibly. What does that mean? They don't have a definition for it. It means we need to trust them. They are responsible people. First of all, I believe they are very good people. I don't have anything against them. But I believe responsible AI means supervised by human. And we know who are the human who are presenting the AI for us. Oh my God. Responsible AI is a term that means human are in control. So we need to know who is the human who is approving this AI act, who is the human who are approving this software, who is behind it, what is the data set that is being used. This is independent of knowing how you program. I don't want you to tell me your secret programming recipe. Keep it for yourself. I understand they want to make money with it. That's fine. But the word responsible AI need to be used in a context of human-controlled actions, not associate it with a noun. It's done by AI. And this is the danger, in my opinion, of AGI term being used with just super generative AI tools. Because super generative AI tools always needs a human. I think you and I, we have used ChatGPT, and we know it needs a human. All AI tools we have seen so far needs a human. It's not autonomous. Even if you create something automatic that has some autonomous things, someone wrote the script for it.
Sure.
So who is this guy? Who is this company? Who is the responsible toward the society about this AI tool? And I will call it tool, not a species.
Yeah. Well, I agree with a lot of what you're saying there. Maybe moving away from the abstract and a little bit more to the tangible, which you started right there. I think that I'm totally using ChatGPT every single day, multiple times a day, and have for the better part of a year. And I've seen the kind of tremendous efficiency gains in my own work. I started a business just under a year ago, and the amount of things that I've done in that year, I don't think it would have been possible without the use of ChatGPT. So, clearly in a very micro example, I'm getting a lot of benefit from it. You are connected to the AI community. Where do you see some of the solid use cases of implementing AI, beyond ChatGPT, and what kind of Like, has there been like significant return on investment from investing in AI? Maybe some of the listeners have only really used ChatGPT and they're not familiar with like some of the other adoption of AI tools by, you know, certain companies or certain sectors. If you want to lay that out, that'd be great.
Yeah, I will do something very general in the beginning. I will remind people that AI is already everywhere.
Yeah.
Only with ChatGPT. By the way, 70% of professionals are using ChatGPT or something similar in their work today. That's huge. But it's not only in the workspace. If you go to a tool like YouTube, Spotify, AI algorithm are choosing what you are going to watch.
Yeah.
They are selective in the videos. And also they are machine learning algorithms that practically check your habits and suggest to you something similar. Spotify, on Netflix, or YouTube. So already we are watching according to AI suggestions. Go farther. Even our cars are now driven by AI. Autonomous cars are using AI algorithms. What's then autonomous cars are? Okay. And soon we'll have our package delivery via drones. In fact, maybe with combination with an autonomous car, because the drone will put it from the warehouse to the car drive itself to your house, then a drone will take it from the car to your door. Somehow, all this is AI. We are already invaded by AI. AI is already everywhere, and not only as a chatbot.
Yeah.
Now, going forward with the future, we'll see improvement, of course. We'll see, I think, within 5 to 10 years, the robo-taxi for real working, not prototypes. We'll see a lot of routine jobs, unfortunately, gone. And we'll see a real robot working in workplaces. I don't think the companion or humanoid robot will see soon because of economical aspect and complexity aspect. I tell people all the time, it's easy to have a super ChatGPT that writes poems, but it's very difficult to have a robot that will make your laundry. Because spatial intelligence is not as developed as language intelligence that we worked on for years and years. So the future is for, first, we'll see applications where this textual and let's call it language and intelligence is used, especially customer support. I think customer support will be the first champion of AI, either as chatbot online, but also as talking customer service. We saw that in some demos online. I think all of us saw it. Yeah. Even OpenAI did one, when you can have a conversational AI, very smart, taking your claims and requests in customer support. So this is the first one that I can see. Everything related to natural language processing is the obvious and immediate application. Comes after it, everything related to image processing. And here goes to life science and the medical health. We can see that it will be a very extraordinary tool in diagnostic, when you can use machine learning algorithms with a lot of medical data to recognize and diagnostic using images and cameras for colonoscopy, for other kind of medical applications. This is the next and immediate, I think, revolution, and it's coming. It's coming immediately. Mm-hmm. Now we can have more and more, like education need to change. This is not happening yet, but it should happen quickly.
Yeah.
Like some people consider using ChatGPT, the assignment cheating. I consider not cheating. It's the normal process. And what should happen, the assignment need to change. Not until tell people, hey, don't use it, it's a cheating. But I will still to give you the usual and creative basic assignment. No, ask the student to become much more creative. Ask them to become a human again, and let the machine take the routine and easy stuff, and let them use it to the maximum. Mm-hmm. So in terms of future application, this summarize, I think first, everything language, natural language processing would be the first thing. Then image and video processing with machine learning, including autonomous cars, industrial and specialized robots. I give that the example already for all people, just for fun. When we are young, we watched that movie, The Terminator. when we have a killing robot is a form of humanoid and he has a gun and running after the guy.
Yeah.
Today, that's laughable. It's really a joke because we have a drone that looks like F-16 that has wonderful weapon. It doesn't need a human to pilot them. It doesn't need a human robotic shape to be inside of that. The same thing I saw this old cartoons. I think it was made in the 40s when you have a humanoid robot mopping the floor with an old mop. Now, today, you have a company I will not cite it, but you know how it looks like the cleaning robot at home. So this is also upcoming application. The bigger revolution, I think it needs to be in healthcare, when we can save a lot of money at all levels, from the doctor assistant that takes notes and summarizes information, to the chatbot that will help people communicate and manage their health online before reaching to the doctor. I don't believe that we need to replace anyone, like nurses, health workers, doctors, by AI. I think just we need to empower them and make their life easier and make less stress on them, so they will come back also to being empathetical and human. Some people said AI is more empathetical than human. I don't agree, but it casts empathy because we human, we are stressed with a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But I am for using AI to cast this empathy, but let a human behind it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm too tired and I cannot smile in your face and I have a fake smile with a robot, that's fine. But my intention is to serve you and I am supervising that rather than leaving only for the machine.
Could we go back and highlight a little bit about the education and the automation of work or the augmentation of work? Because I think that this is a topic that needs to be discussed, I think, as much as possible as we're moving into this age, right? So you laid out a number of different emerging technologies, whether it's these humanoid robots or, ChatGPT or these LLMs, etc. To me, it sounds like, and I've spoken about this a lot on the podcast before, especially in the earlier episodes, that as humans, as employees or entrepreneurs or however you identify, there needs to be a new mindset of continuous learning. Like, no longer can you hope that university taught you everything that you needed to, and then you go into work and you define your skills and you get a little bit better at your work, but there's no new ways or there's no new thoughts that you really have to have as far as learning. I'm really thinking that as the age of exponential technology is really upon us, you almost need to redefine your skill set every, I don't know, pick a number, 5, 10 years, 3 years, and
2 days, 3 days.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah. I mean, we'll probably get there at some point. Like, what do you think about this concept of human to human skills being some of the more valuable skills in the future? Do you think that the ability for us to empathize and interact with people is going to be more valuable, or are there other skills like, what was it? Even 5 years ago, people were saying, well, coding is going to be the most important skill of the future. I think we're now starting to see that that's maybe not the case. Maybe a simple question then to kind of summarize all this. What do you think the most valuable skills are?
You just mentioned a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, without promoting a lot my book, I have a chapter practically on each point of this. So
Perfect.
just like that chapters for people, just for having fun. For example, changing of jobs and how we will approach jobs. I call it the revolution of the digital proletariat. Okay. That's a term from Marxism.
Yep.
Proletariat means workers. And at that time, Karl Marx said, let's do a revolution because who works need to take the power, right? I will tell them we have now digital proletariat. And for the bad fortune of all these theories, digital proletariat is the winner or the winner card for capitalism because it's owned by capital. Capital and innovation go hands in hand.
Yep.
So in terms of jobs, oh my God, there will be huge differences. It will be a revolution. It's already happening first, but it will take some time until it's fully taken over. So, and it's inevitable. We cannot make some laws until, hey, we will not allow it because others will do. Will be just behind, okay? Will be just a country that is falling behind the technology. So, because Chinese, Russia will do it anyway. So, it's inevitable. Now, let's talk about our human superpower. And this joined the first comments we talk about AGI. We human, we're not just data and machine learning in the term of generative AI. We have much more power. You know, the irony is not that the machine has become human-like. The irony, we human, we have been behaving like machine in the last 50 years. We are telling people, don't use your emotion in the job. Follow SOP, follow instruction. We don't say it openly, but don't be creative. Just follow rules. And it's time that change. Because now, all the repetitive and routine tasks can be done by robot and AI. So it's going back to being human, creative, empathetical, intuitive. Intuition and empathy and love are very essential components of our humanity. This is our human intelligence. We were talking about AGI. This is what AGI cannot do, I cannot understand. You know, we are talking about the singularity. Singularity is a term when the machine will outsmart us, and they think in 30 years it will happen. I don't think so. I talk about the singularity of hope. What will happen, we human, we have a historical chance, that is with the hope, of multiplying our intelligence. The same way you just mentioned your story about how you are improving your productivity, but I will use the term higher, human AI augmentation. That's what I will use. And it's how AI would improve our intelligence by a way that the next generation, it will be super intelligent human. And we'll have a new kind of singularity with this new super intelligent human using AI in every aspect. So we need to think about it, especially you're mentioning empathy. We cannot let the robot without supervision. We cannot let the robot without a human. Not because it's dangerous, but because it will destroy our society. Will give us mental health issues, will give us depression. We need empathy. Yes, let's use and embrace AI everywhere, but put the human always in the loop.
Yeah.
Everywhere. For the empathy, for the love, for the responsibility, for the ethics, it needs to be supervised by you. We are talking about the jobs, I believe, and this is a lot of people have said it already. A lot of jobs will disappear, but new jobs will come in.
Yeah.
A lot of jobs will come in. And I don't agree that coding jobs will disappear. No. I have seen it in my company. Coding will improve. Like any new person will still use ChatGPT or something like this for coding. But coding, and I like the CEO of NVIDIA because he will tell you coding will become natural language. That means instead of writing a programming language that is a machine language, we'll use the natural language processing, but the machine has no creativity. You still need a human to figure out things. And they need still to learn critical thinking and a lot of knowledge and induction and reasoning, because with that, they can imagine complex algorithms. But here is the things. They will not write it as a code. Maybe they will tell the machine what to write. So the routine will disappear. Things will disappear in the way we used to them, but new habits will emerge. And I think it will amplify our intelligence, not destroy it. Of course, we have challenges because here comes the politics. When you have leaders that are above 70 years old governing us, without naming any, with respect to all their life and all their achievement, they're still not young to understand technologies. And changes will become so fast. So yes, we'll have challenges. I'm very hopeful. I think we'll create the super intelligent next generation of a human that maybe will have 4 arms because of AI instead of 2 arms, because we'll have robots, human-machine interface that using our brain will control the extra hands, the extra legs, the extra things that we'll have. I am very optimistic about the future, but that doesn't mean we don't need to talk. Doesn't need to plan and work about it. Education need to change. Education need to change at 2 levels. So professors and educators needs to use ChatGPT to improve their quality of lessons, but we need them They have the empathy of love of what they are doing to make it right, to make the people learn. And human learn by love. So if you give them a machine, they will not learn. But they need to use the machine too. That will be the new education at two levels. AI for the teachers, AI for the students, and also going forward, all domains need to use AI with responsible AI. That means always a human in control. Creativity needs to be here. We need to redefine what jobs we will have. Definitively, the dumb job, don't open your mouth and follow the orders, will disappear. Okay, and this is maybe good, right? It's maybe good to send a robot firefighter instead of sending a human. But you need a human to supervise this robot. You don't want them to go save the cat before the human. With all respect to cats.
Yeah, no, I agree with practically everything that you're saying there. Can we touch on your book a little bit? There's only some 15 minutes or so left, and I think it ties nicely into one of the main thoughts that I have here that I've been. It's kind of a continuous conversation, and I'm sure you're having this conversation with a lot of people as well. There's so much happening, not just AI, but humanoid robots, drones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? There's so much going on. And for the average layperson that's not connected to this, that's not trying to keep up with, all the latest developments in artificial intelligence or these other emerging technologies, it is incredibly overwhelming. I have some parents that are a little bit older. They're not as, shall we say, technologically astute as I or my siblings, and they're just completely overwhelmed. And with that sense of being overwhelmed comes kind of a negative perspective of the future, right? And as soon as people start to understand these concepts of the singularity, they think, we're going to lose our humanity. The world's going to be so different. It's not going to be worth living in. There's going to be, there's just this large sense of negativity towards the future. And I really like to bring it back to your book. I really like the title of your book because it's hopeful. There's a new sense that kind of pushes back against this negative, perspective of the future. So could you maybe briefly touch on what you talk about in your book, and then maybe also touch on your motivations for writing the book and your thoughts of this hopeful, positive future that we're moving into?
Of course. So let me just give an idea quickly about the book without necessarily diving into details. So the book is about the singularity of technology, of course, not mathematical or physical singularity. So the technological singularity is a term when we think the machine at one certain point in time will outsmart us. And then this machine that is 110% smarter than us will create another machine that is 120% smarter. And then the other machine, and go on, and we lose control. We'll have practically super intelligent machine controlling the society, and will become just viewer, watcher in this society, will be left behind. At the same time, it comes with a promise of unprecedented innovation and unprecedented development and prosperity for humanity. Yeah. This is the traditional singularity concept that Kurzweil famously, let's call it, wrote about. He's not the one who wrote the idea, but he is
he popularized
hero. I learned it from him, and I like when he talks about it. Now comes my book. I start by a different structure. First of all, I'm trying to reduce the hype about the current situation of AI. This is my first chapter. I call it The Mind and the Machine, where I describe the major difference today between generative AI capacity and the human capacity, and how we're still in the lead far in advance. In the second chapter, I talk about jobs and how the society will change with robots, with technology. Then I go to the singularity approach, and I explain it just the way I'm trying to explain it to you and to our audiences now. That means machine will be in control. Here comes my, let's call it, proposal, where I say, and it's happening anyway. I'm saying I'm proposing the ideas in the book, but it will happen anyway, because we human, we are intuitive and smart in a very different way. We make use of things in a very special way. You are talking about elder people, parents, grandparents. You'll be surprised. They are all already using smartphone, very good. Sometimes I learned from my mother some trick about iPhone, and they will surprise you how they will adjust to new technology because this is how human work. So I'm talking about human AI augmentation, where we blend together human capacity with AI, and how this will create much more smarter human. Then I go to the next chapter and I talk about the danger of that on society in terms of mental health, about people left behind, about technology going fast, about our purpose in life. Because what I just told you, we used to train people in a different way.
Yeah.
And now suddenly we want them to behave like a human again. So 70, 50 years of machine-like. And now, okay, we have AI, we can do the routine. Now go back to becoming empathetical, creative, intuitive. It will take time. It's a shock in terms of mental capacity of a human. It's happening too fast. So this is one danger, and we need to address it. And I talk about some possibilities in the book, but again, I'm not the monopoly of solution. I'm just starting a discussion. The other thing that would be huge and impressive is inequality in income.
Yeah.
You will have new kind of companies that with 2-3 people, maybe we can generate billions of dollars. This is new for humanity. A lot of jobs will disappear. I know others will emerge, but in between this, a big economic model will go down forever. And we need to talk about it. We don't want to wait until it happens because it will come too late. There are people who talk about ideas that I think they are smart, but they need adjustment, like UBI, Universal Basic Income. I talk about other ideas in the book. We don't have the time, unfortunately, to talk about them, but there are a lot of ideas and we need to be creative. The economy of the singularity is different and we have no idea how things work.
Yeah.
Go to the last chapter, and in my opinion, this is my thesis, and I call it the Singularity of Hope, super intelligent. Now, let's imagine another alternative of the singularity, where instead of machine being 110% smarter than us, I don't think that will happen soon, neither in 15 or 20 or even 30 years. What will happen, we'll have a new generation of human who are 110% smarter than us. They will be using AI in a way we cannot even imagine today. They will be creating a new project. These super intelligent people is the new generation. I tell people who are obsessed by replicating human intelligence, I tell them, hey, there is a way. Already we know how to replicate human intelligence naturally by making babies. Let's make new babies. Let's make them super intelligent using what we have right now, educate them in a revolutionary way, give them all the needs and the possibilities to make this world prosper and better. This is the singularity of hope. When instead of machine becoming smarter than us, the new generation will be super intelligent, smarter than us today, amplified by these technologies of AI, and will create a better and prosper humanity for the best of all of us. This is the theory of the book. It's the hope comes from human, not from AI. It comes from human AI augmentation, not AI replacement. So this is what's the book about, and it's a call for action. It's a call for humanity to start working these things. We have challenges. We have the economy challenges. We have the mental health challenges. We have to update all our things, going back to being a human, stop being a machine. A lot of work to do, but the hope is here. We will emerge from this as a superior race. Yes, it will be a new race. Yes, it will be a mutation, not genetical this time, but in terms of, as a lot of researchers call it, mimics-wise, that means in terms of thoughts and capacity, and it will be the singularity of hope, of the regular singularity.
I think that's a perfect place to end the podcast on, Sam. I feel like I could talk to you all day about this stuff. Fascinating. Thank you for your insights. I'll of course have your LinkedIn up on the show notes, your website, link to your book. Is there any other things that you would like the audience to reach out to you or follow you with?
That's perfect. There is also my YouTube channel. It's called PSN, where I put a lot of ideas and things in a small videos. So and other people can go and communicate there too. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this nice discussion.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on. Well, thanks for listening to this week's Future Tech and Foresight podcast. If you like what you've heard here, there are, of course, a number of ways that you can support the podcast. The best way would be to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or give a rating on Spotify, which you can find a step-by-step explanation for on the futuretechandforesight.com website. Alternatively, feel free to leave a comment either on the episode show notes or the YouTube channel where you can see video recordings of the interviews. And finally, if you are part of an organization that is aware of the disruptive and transformational impact that emerging and future technologies will bring and want to know more, please get in touch to hear about the strategic foresight services that we offer and how we can help future-proof your organization and take advantage of the phenomenal opportunities available to survive and thrive in the future.
A lot of future-shocked people and future-shocked institutions in our society are simply overwhelmed.
Once there is superintelligence, the fate of humanity may depend on what the superintelligence does.
Science fact is catching up to science fiction.
The first truly intelligent machine will be the last invention that humanity needs to make.
The only scarcity that will exist in the future is that which we decide to create ourselves as humans.
Within a 10-year design revolution, we can have all humanity living the highest standard of living anybody's ever known.
Progress is accelerating at an exponential pace, and it's going to reach a point where progress is so fast it's going to be a singularity.
We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens.
Every single headline points to the birth pangs of a Type 1 civilization.